What's going on, everybody? Praise the Lord. Super excited tonight. Told you we was gonna do something a little different. As you can see, setup is a little different. Got somebody with me tonight, and so we're excited. It's our second birthday. We 2 years old today. 2 years old today. We had our first service on March 10th, 2019. The time has flown by. So this is what we need you to do. Tonight is no different. We're doing something a little different, but on your end is no different. We still need you to share. Tap in with us. We still need you to share. Share to all your groups. I got my iPad right here. I'm doing exactly what I'm asking you to do. All right, I'm doing exactly what I'm asking you to do. So make sure you share. You won't want to miss the discussion tonight. So we want you all to tap in. All right. So even though we're doing things a little different, we still want to open up in prayer and still ask God to bless our time together. And then we're just gonna have a little bit of a discussion. We're gonna have a anniversary, a birthday chit chat. And we'll see where it goes from there. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again. We thank you for this time together. We thank you for allowing us to be able to celebrate 2 years in your service, 2 years in your ministry, 2 years sharing your gospel. And we just look forward to many more to come. God, we thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. And it's in that name we say, Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit tonight. This is gonna be kind of, I don't know, it's just gonna be a conversation. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to remember. I've been saying over the past month or so. I've been telling you we got to set up some time for us to just talk. We just got to talk. We haven't been able to have the fellowship that we're used to having. We haven't all been able to come together in the building. So we got to do it virtually. So that's what we're gonna do here tonight. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to put all of your questions, all of your comments, all of your everything into the comment section, and we're just gonna have a little discussion. We got mystery ministry in the background, so you guys will hear a voice, but you won't see a face to sort of help guide the conversation. But we want you all to be a part of it. So make sure you put everything that you have in the comment section, and we're gonna jump right into it. But before we do, y'all gotta share, because I don't think y'all shared yet. So you gotta. I don't know if you missed when I told you that, but you gotta share. All right, let's do it.
All right. So, yeah, we came to celebrate. So, First Lady said on the video, right, that we was gonna party. That's what she said. Right? She said we was gonna party. So since we at this 2-year mark, right, it's only right. It's hold on. Whoa. That ain't working right. Hold on now. Hold on. I was too excited. Hold on. We gotta get it all the way together. Hold up. Okay.
Bluetooth connected.
There we go. We gotta party just a little bit. Listen, just a little bit. We're just gonna give them a little bit of a taste because it's our anniversary.
We gotta put a disclaimer in the video.
Listen, hold on. We do not own the rights to this music. All right, as we play this, we do not own the rights. Don't take us down, but it's our 2-year anniversary. We gotta turn it on. You know what I'm saying? Listen, vibe out with us for a second. Just vibe out.
Hey.
You know,
First thing I'll do is run straight to you.
we just gonna give them a little bit. It's the gospel version, by the way. Kirk Franklin version. All right, let's get into it. I just had to give y'all a little taste, man. Let's get into it. So, first and foremost, how does it feel? How does it feel to, okay, y'all birth something, right? You birth something, to see that thing like take legs now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like the origin, like having a baby almost. You know what I'm saying? They're birth, they're crying a little bit. You got to change that diaper and feed it every hour. Now it's to the point where we're 2 years old. We got legs. we moving, we holding the edge of the table, and we walking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So how does it feel to be at that 2-year mark now?
Well,
What you think?
I think it is a lot of emotions. It's definitely a lot of emotions that come in play. Like, it was like, for me, it was like a waiting period, because God had revealed some stuff to me. And so I was just waiting patiently as I can, because, you know, sometimes I had to give some pushes. I feel like I had to help God. But then when Pastor over here was full in, I was just like, okay. He's like, I'm doing this, and this, and God gave me this vision, and this vision. And I was just like, okay, trying to find my place on how to get it started. So that was a journey in itself. And then, like, just seeing it now from all of the history that we're probably going to talk about at some point tonight, seeing where it is now, and still, like, looking at some of the struggles and some of the victories, like, it's really an amazing, exciting experience. And now that we have the right team like that, I can't stress how important that is. So it has been very amazing to me, and overworked and underpaid, but just seeing that it's all been worth it now, I see it.
Absolutely. So what about you? How does it feel?
So I can't really answer that question until y'all share. Y'all gotta share the video.
Oh my God.
Hey, Pastor ain't playing about the chairs if y'all don't know.
They better share this video.
So no, all seriousness. It's definitely been an interesting journey. So I really don't know how it feels. Somebody asked me earlier today, like how I felt about it, and the only word that I could really give was appreciative, and grateful, thankful, and they were kind of, I guess, appalled a little bit that I didn't use the word excited, and they asked when did I feel like I would get to that place of, like, being excited, and to be honest with you, like, I don't know if it'll ever come, because I'm so committed to the work. Right. You know what I mean? And just always, like, wanting to take the next ordered step. You know what I mean? So right now I'm just in a place of appreciation and gratefulness that God would allow me to even participate in this part of his plan. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I just want to continue to be obedient and really see where he takes us, and really see the impact that Abundant Faith will be able to make. But right now I'm really just grateful. I'm just grateful.
Absolutely. And you know, we put out our appreciation today, but I mean, just seeing from where we start, which we about to get into, right? We're gonna get into the whole origin. Like, we gonna break this thing down, especially because we got new family members. We got people who tune in every single week who may not have made that commitment to us yet, like you know what I'm saying, verbally, but they're committed every single week. They're showing up. So we gonna get into that, but just seeing the growth and having those behind the scenes conversations and stuff like that, man, it's crazy to see how it evolves. It's crazy to see how, you know, different moving pieces, you know, some people that were there and now gone, and you know what I'm saying, or new people that came on board. Like, it just, I don't know, it's almost like watching a startup company or something like that. So I know there's big things down the line, but let's get into that origin a little bit, because the journey to here, like, because a lot of times, you know, people will see where you are now and think that it started there, right? That's not where it started. So let's go back to where it started at. Like, when did you know, or together, you know, when did y'all know that ministry was the move? Now, before church, we're not talking about the church yet. We're just talking about ministry. Like, when y'all started Faithful Ministries, how did y'all know that ministry was going to be that launching pad?
Well, I knew before we got married. I just didn't know how it was gonna play out. Okay, so we did start a ministry called Faithful Ministries, and Pastor was thinking that's it, because he knew it was a void. So he said we're gonna start Faithful Ministries, and we're just gonna do community work. And he had all these it was a great organization and all these great points. And I participated. I was the biggest supporter. We had a team of people, but I knew that wasn't it. So that ended up phasing out. I won't say failing. It ended up phasing out. And he was back to the drawing board trying to figure out what his purpose was. And I knew the whole time what his purpose was. And then that's how it birthed Abundant Faith. And he had all these names before Abundant Faith that he was going back and forth to. And then when he knew the name of what the church would be and that he would be the pastor. And I think that was probably back in 2018 when Abundant Faith
first came
around. Okay. That was 2018. So almost a year before we actually started speaking, made the announcement. What do you think?
Yeah. So I'm trying. Okay. So going back, because man, Faithful Ministries was like 2014.
So here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know. Right. I want to know when you got that call. You know what I'm saying? To do ministry, because there was a Jordan before Pastor Jordan, right? So who was that? We breaking it down today. We gonna break it down today. There was a Jordan before Pastor Jordan, right? And then when you get a call like that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of purposes out there, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But that purpose is a purpose that, and it's a different type of journey. I put it like that. So when you get that call, you hold on, you look at the caller ID. You know what I'm saying?
Not that year, it was JB.
Yeah.
That was the Jordan before the Pastor Jordan. JB.
Yeah. That was a completely different.
Absolutely.
That was a different person. Okay. So I used to say, when I would get asked this question, I used to say that I got a call from ministry that I ran from. And as I matured and really started to reflect on what was going on, I realized that wasn't really accurate. So it wasn't that I was running from a call, I was unsure.
Right.
I was unclear.
Yeah. And
one of the reasons why I say that is because I say all the time, I've been a church boy my whole life. So church was not new to me. Service was not new to me. People were not new to me. None of that was new. And as a matter of fact, it came very naturally to me. So at the time when this transition started at my home church, I just felt like there was a void in certain spaces that I felt like I could feel, even if only temporarily. I didn't feel like any of those things would be something that I would be doing forever, but just to move the needle, right? To push us forward. And so I started doing these different things in ministry that I hadn't done before, at least in the capacity that I was doing them. So everything from music to youth to outreach to just all of these different things, just trying to fill this void. And but I thought that I was filling a void in that ministry, but I was also trying to fill a void within myself as well. And so when I couldn't stack my schedule anymore with any other programs or initiatives or anything like that, I was packed out to the max, so much so that it was starting to affect my household. We didn't have any children at the time, but First Lady was participating in stuff that she really didn't even want to participate in, but for the sake of having time with me, she was participating in these things, and it was starting to cause a rift. And I'm like, for what? Because I still feel this void. And so to try to cut the story as much as possible, I end up in Bedford, Indiana, for a training. I had to go to Bedford, Indiana for a week. We had not too long been married. I mean, when I say not too long, I mean like a month or two. Like, we had not too long been married. I go away for a week for a training. And if anybody's ever been to Bedford, like, there's nothing there. Like, Bedford is like this small little city before you get to Bloomington. There's nothing there except this training facility, pretty much. And while I was there is when I really felt like I could hear the voice of God clearly. And I almost felt like Moses when he ran from Egypt and like was in that wilderness, and then he has this experience with God. And or at least what I think Moses might have felt like. But and I felt like I could hear God's voice clearly to go into ministry. And so that was like the first half of the week. So the second half of the week, like, I'm just nervous because now I got to come home and tell my new wife that I'm being called into ministry, when very early on in our relationship, like, we weren't even in a relationship yet. Like, we were just getting to know each other. And, you know, just talking about what you like and don't like. She's like, you know, I never want to be married to a minister, never want to be with a pastor. Like, just generally speaking. And like,
just to put that out there.
At that time, I didn't take it personally because that was the furthest thing from my mind either. You know what I mean? It was really just because of her upbringing and things that she had experienced. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, you end up with me, you ain't got to worry about that. Like, that was my mentality. So, you know, knowing the whole second half of the week that, you know, I got to come home and tell her this, I was a little nervous about it. And when I got home, I was just like, yo, we need to talk. And like, that's a scary statement to make. You know what I mean? I've been gone for a week.
I know.
We just got married, and I'm like, we need to talk. And
that was JB though. That was JB.
Not. I mean, it was like we were transitioning. You know what I mean? So I was just like, you know, I really had a lot of time to think out there. Like, there was not, like, in the training facility, we didn't even have TV or internet or anything like that. Like,
right.
It was really nothing there. So I was just like, you know, I had a lot of time to think. It was nothing there, and a lot of time to pray and like hear from God. And like, I know that I'm supposed to be in ministry, and like, I'm expecting like one thing, and she was like, all right. And I'm like, what you mean, all right? And she was like, as much as I didn't want this, like, God has been working on me with this for, you know, quite some time now. But I just couldn't say anything to you because, you know, God was still working on me with it. Right, and so that's pretty much how, like, that was, you know, on your mark, get set, go. That was when the gun went off.
So there's a lot to unpack there, right? Because this is still the midweek recharge, right? We still want people to learn stuff from here, this. So go get your pen and your pad, because we about to dissect this a little bit. And this wasn't on the docket at all, right? But number one, since we just kind of hit on this, number one, this is for First Lady.
Okay.
How hard is it to be with someone who is like evolving into something that you didn't see? You see what I'm saying? Like, at first, like initially, like he was one way when you met him, and you was like, no ministry, I'm not doing it, right? And then he evolves into something that's totally different, and it's kind of like, oh no, I didn't marry that, and I told you. You see what I'm saying? So how do you deal with that, or how do you shift? Because I know that you said that you kind of saw it coming, and
I saw it coming. So how did I shift? Okay, because right now I feel like I have my moments, but it's running a lot more smooth. But how did I shift?
This is relationship. This is relationship 101. All right, we because this is important. Like, because a lot of times when you get married, you're marrying, especially young.
Yes.
You're marrying this person who may be in college, or who may be whatever. They may be a nurse when you meet them, but now they want to be an entrepreneur, or now they want to be a pastor. You know, like, how that's hard. I feel like that's hard to deal with.
It's very hard. So my personality, I'm very supportive, and you'll hear me say that a lot. However, I do have my like limits. So for me, and this is the guy's honest truth, I was still, when we met and even when we got married, I was still partying. And so my transition like God literally removed the desire from me, because me and Pastor were still partying together, and we were in the club one day, and I was just like, yeah, you ready to go? It was like we looked at each other, and at that moment we were like, yeah. And we were still young. We were still very young, especially Pastor. And the desire literally removed. So then we started finding different things to do, because we still like to have fun. And we were in that stage like, we don't want to be all involved in the church because they're boring. Those people over there are boring. We still want to have fun. So we started finding different things to do. Our friends kind of shifted a little bit.
Because we were the first ones on either side, my group of friends and your group of friends. We were the first ones to get married.
So that's another little wrench in the whole situation right there.
Yeah. So we were the first ones to get married. So our friend, it's not that we stopped like speaking with them, like we just, certain things that we used to hang out and do, we didn't do anymore. So the desire was removed, and then I had to reshift my thinking on how, because I'm all about our relationship working no matter what. So reshift my thinking and reshift, like, how can I get Pastor to where he needs to be? And then, so it goes in like phases. Like every 2 years I'm working on myself, and then every 2 years we're working on, all of our energy is going towards him. So it's always been going in phases for us. But it was definitely an adjustment. It was definitely an adjustment with my family, my friends. You got my family saying, "Oh, she's changed." My friends saying that she's changed,
and that's hard to deal with.
It is definitely hard to deal with. It's
like, because on either side, the perception is that the change is because of the other person.
Right. That's how it always is when you get married. It's like, oh, he changed her.
It's easier to blame him than blame the person that they've been with.
Right.
For all these years. So, and then I took that to heart. And so then I started saying, they're like, "Oh, well, you don't come here." And so then I started going. But then I'm like, they don't come to what I like to do.
Right.
So I had to like reevaluate that whole situation. But it definitely is, when you get married or enter into a relationship and it's going one way, and then all of a sudden you're going left, and one person may not want to go left. Right. And then it's like you start to get these thoughts, literally these thoughts, and why do I have to do that? I'm not doing that. Like, there's no reason why I should. He can go and do this, and I'll just stay over here on this island. But it never works out that way. You never really reach, if you're not on one accord, you never really reach it. Yeah, you drift apart, and then you look up one day and you're just like, I don't even know him. So that's what he meant when I started like attending stuff that he had stacked on his schedule, because I never wanted him to be a stranger in our home.
So what I'm hearing from that and is that there was some flexibility that you had to have. You had to be flexible on that, and I'm pretty sure there was some communication. And this is super important for relationships, because I mean, I'm looking at some of the people that are on. We got married folks, you know what I'm saying, that are on, and it's not easy to deal with. Now, let me ask you this: what if he would have came to you and said, "Listen, I've been in the studio. Here go my mixtape. I'm a rapper now." What would you have said then?
I would have like, "You're too old to be a rapper. I'm not gonna support."
He got bars though. That's JB. JB Smith.
Hold on. Let me say this because I feel like it's.
I'm gonna drop an instrumental in a minute. Listen,
there's some cap happening because first and foremost, when we met, I was only 21, so the too old thing wouldn't have been a thing.
Oh yeah. You gotta start younger.
No, you don't. No. So that's
first. That was YouTube era too.
Yeah, YouTube was just coming out. SoundCloud just coming out. But that's first and foremost. Well, secondly, and you know what? This is an exclusive right here. Y'all want an exclusive? Y'all want an exclusive? When we met, I was a poet. So that would not have
he was
been
already doing it. That's what you didn't know.
That would not have been far-fetched.
Listen, I can't be a backup dancer in the video.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I would have said, and matter of fact, when we met, I was still going. I was singing hooks for rappers, local rappers in the city. Like I was singing.
So,
hooks.
so
The studio thing.
I didn't hit on something. Didn't even know it.
Yeah, the studio thing was not would not have been far fetched.
So you think I would have been a rapper's wife?
I think that if I would have chosen to go in the music industry, you would have been supported.
Okay.
She like, nah.
because I don't know that I would have wanted to be at the forefront. That's not really my personality.
Right.
I would have wanted to write for people, do later demos, maybe some background vocals, something like that. But like I would have definitely, like if I would have said that I'm going into the music industry.
Yeah, she would have been.
Think about it like this. She was supportive of me running into burning buildings.
Well, that's different.
Well, she like that check is coming
life.
too. That firefighter check.
But it would be the same for what I would have done in the music industry. It would have been the same if I was like, I'm an author.
Right. Well,
right.
Okay. So the reason why I say that is because like there's two sides of the spectrum, especially in a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you saw that purpose on him, right? Mm-hmm. But if he was like just totally like on his own accord, not listening to God, not paying attention to the road that was ahead of him, he could have went somewhere else. And now you either got to ride down this road that's not for y'all, or it causes kind of a that's what I'm saying. It causes a rift, and that happens a lot though. Yeah. It happens a lot. Like there was a time where I had the studio at the crib. You know what I'm saying? There's a time that I had the studio at the crib. My wife was never on board. She didn't stop me, but she wasn't on board with it. But I think when you see that evidence and God is talking and working with you, and then He's working on him at the same time. Being equally yoked in that situation was a good transition for you.
Well, I think that even with the whole concept of being equally yoked is understanding that sometimes you got to give people time to like figure it out,
to find themselves. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So
I hope y'all taking notes tonight. Listen, this is relationship. Look, this is gonna be a lot to this tonight. I promise you. Just hang on. Share it. Hold on. Let me drop the share again.
So you got to give people time to figure things out, and so. There were some things that career-wise that she wanted to do and did, and then realized like, nah, this isn't what I thought it was. And you know what I mean? And even, you know, her jumping into the entrepreneurial realm and like, you know what I'm saying? So like so I think the bigger thing is not whether or not I'll support a person in this space, but if you don't give anybody in any type of relationship, like if you don't give anybody the grace to be able to just figure it out and like let them be able to see like, yeah, I thought this was it, but this ain't it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I think that's what the key is.
That's huge because you just actually hit on the next thing that I wrote down, because she said there was a point where like faithful ministries have phased out. Mm-hmm. And this is another part in relationships where one person's so gun-ho on this thing, right? Like this is it, but it does end up phasing out and leading to the next thing, right? I'm a true believer in the thing that leads to the thing. Like I just believe that when God puts us on the path, sometimes we get excited with that first thing that we see, faithful ministries, and then it becomes abundant faith, right? That's that phasing out part is huge. So when that happens, are you thinking that maybe like, okay, is he sure that we should be doing this church thing? You know what I'm saying? Because what was the gap between, real quick, just like what was the gap between faithful ministries kind of phasing out into like, okay, we're going to start a church? Like how, like when did you?
3-4 years.
It was 3-4 years in between. So real quick, give us that in between part, that was happening. I know.
So we joined another church, and he was still doing in leadership. But he kind of like rebranded himself. Like the last 2 years of that, he kind of like rebranded himself. I remember like us going to help out another church, and he didn't even tell them that he could sing, and he didn't want to be over the youth. Like he rebranded himself because people knew him as a singer or a youth leader, a youth pastor, and so he removed all of that experience and rebranded himself, getting him ready. And he probably didn't even know it. It was just getting him ready to become a pastor. Man. And I thought that was important, like the rebrand.
Yeah, the rebrand was intentional. That part was intentional. And at that point in time, at the time of the rebrand, I knew that I would be a pastor at some point. Like at that point, that part registered to me. I didn't know I would start a ministry though.
It's funny because me and Jay were just talking about this the other day. we remember when you were doing the music, you would do a youth that you would do a Bible study, and then you would preach. I was like, this I'm like doing everything.
Go up and preach.
Yeah. So I remember all of that. So you come to a point where you know for sure that you're going to be a pastor, but you're still kind of.
Yeah. So the rebrand, that experience was, the opportunity was unexpected, and what it turned into was unexpected. Mm-hmm. But I knew that when I went to this space, I wanted to show that I could do it. Because here's the thing. I never claimed to be like the best singer or whatever, but like, as we know in the Black church, like everybody loves the preacher who can sing too, right? So it had gotten to a point where I got invited to preach at a church, and everybody knows I have like terrible sinus and allergy issue. Like my allergies are killing me right now. Yeah. But like, so I get invited to preach at this church, and at the last minute, my voice goes. Like my sinus is kicking and my voice. So I think I took off of work that day. Like I took off of work, and I was just like, I'm just not gonna talk. Like I got the tea, I got the cough drops, I got the everything, because I gotta preach when I get here. So God gave me the grace to be able to deliver the message, and I take my seat, and the administrator, who was like my correspondent that invited me and everything, she like comes over and like has me lean down, and she's like, hey, we were kind of expecting you to sing during the invitation too. And I was like, ma'am, like, I don't, like, did you hear? Like, I barely got through the message. Like, so it had gotten to the point where like that was expected. So I was like, and then when we left my home church and went to another ministry, I by default just wanting to work, like ended up involved in music, and then basically ended up leading the praise team from that. And I was just like, I got a new opportunity. I don't want to get boxed in. You know what I'm saying? And so that was intentional. I didn't know what I was preparing for though when that happened.
Man, so like I said, this is still the midweek recharge. So what I'm hearing from this is that like God will really guide you. You know what I'm saying? Like I think sometimes we be trying to figure it out. Yeah. And it really just starts with that step. Like, okay, I feel like this is what I'm called to do. Let me take immediate action. Faithful Ministries comes, and at that point you think Faithful Ministries is it. You know, like at that point that's what you think it is. I remember going to the resume classes. We doing, I remember all that. And then there's a shift there, and it may look crazy on the outside, but God is guiding those steps, and you don't have to have it all figured out. Like that's the important, because I don't know if I'm looking at Faithful Ministry. I don't know if I say a church is going to be birthed from that. Like when you first started that, like, I don't know if I say, hey, okay, 5 years from now, we're going to be at Abundant Faith. I don't know that I say that.
No, it was never designed to be that. So here's what's interesting. The vision that God gave me for Faithful Ministries, you'll see it again. The vision that God gave me for Faithful Ministries was really up under the umbrella of Abundant Faith, and I didn't know that at the time.
Ooh. So there's a lot. Listen, we might do a part 2 of this thing. I ain't even gonna lie. So, not to cut you off real quick, but there's some people that started something and they think it's dead. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't look the way that they wanted to. They think it's dead, but really, it's still there. So I'll let you continue.
So okay, so if you look at how Abundant Faith functions, let's just say just as far as community. Mm-hmm. Now, 90% of the community initiatives that we've done, you've headed, but there's a reason why we have those types of initiatives. Like, and that's what we wanted to do with Faithful Ministries. Yes. So like, it was a ministry that taught resume building or resume writing. It was a ministry that went and like, okay, so yeah, it's cool to feed people, but like, what about cleaning up the neighborhoods we live in? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like these types of things, where we were trying to do that under Faithful Ministries, and I just didn't know at the time. So just to kind of, I guess, backtrack a little bit, even talking about being with a person, that has these types of things, like I could imagine how hard it is for First Lady, because I say this very lightly, y'all. Please give me grace on this. I say this very lightly, but it's very hard to be with a visionary, because I get the vision and I don't always get right away like how we're going to get there. So I had this vision for Faithful Ministries, but I really needed to take a step back, because when you move backwards, you can see more. And so I needed to take a step back, because what Faithful Ministries was doing was really just a part of what Abundant Faith would be. And so so you'll see that again, and realistically, you've seen it. If you followed Abundant Faith, you've seen Faithful Ministries function. Absolutely. Right? And so even when she went back to, me having all these names, I didn't have one name that didn't have faith in it.
Right.
Every name I had faith in it. And I didn't want to lose the integrity of Faithful Ministries. And I was like, okay, in this area of our lives, our faith was full. In this season of our lives, our faith is abundant.
He told you he was a poet. Now y'all better hear this poetry. Y'all better hear it.
So it's not even really a new vision.
Right.
It's like I just got glasses now. You know what I'm saying? I got. All right,
he preaching now.
So it's not a new direction. It's just a better way to get to the same destination.
Absolutely. So we about to shift into some more stuff, because I got some stuff written down we got to get to. But before we do that, let me read some of these comments. We got Jonas Walker Jr. saying happy 2nd anniversary. Okay. We got Sister Chisholm. How you doing, Sister Chisholm? She says happy anniversary. Chisholm, may God bless y'all. We got Uncle Allen on here, Elder Bacon on here. Bible not bacon. That's what it's. Bible not bacon. So proud of your nephew, the pastor of AFCC, and the first lady from Elder Bacon. Who else we got on here? Whitney, when we were talking about the preacher who could sing, she said, we were just discussing one of the times you were a guest speaker, and you said, I want to know, as a preacher, I think you meant I want to be known as a preacher that can sing versus a singer that can preach. If y'all have any more comments, any more nice words that you want to drop in the comments, feel free. If you're getting anything out of this, if you're enjoying yourself tonight, please hit the like button. Smash the like button if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to share this out. Pastor ain't playing about sharing this out. We gonna do like a quick intermission because it's hot in here. Okay, drink some water, y'all. Drink some water real quick. And it's our anniversary, so we gonna do this one more time. Just one more time for the love. As we shift into the next thing we gonna talk about, we just gotta let it ride for just 1 second. Drink some water. It's hot. It's hot. All right. He was about to go in. I ain't gonna lie. He was about to go in. All right, so let's shift into this ministry specifically, right? We kind of got the origin of it. I just wanted to do that for the people who just may not have known where it started from. And to get I always say this to you, like, people need to see the person as well as the pastor. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they think that you're not a person because you're a pastor. And that's not really fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put this person on a pedestal and you don't understand they're still a person. So I wanted to kind of show that side of you as well for those who never get to see it. So I don't even know how to word this question. Hopefully I word it right. You always do a good job at catching me when I'm not wording something right. But I want you to explain or paint the picture of the heart of this ministry, right? Because it's kind of hard to explain, because like I always tell you this all the time, like the reason why I was attracted to this church is because of the purpose. Like, we could come in and literally do our gift. Like, because sometimes you go to a church or you go to an organization, whatever, and they don't got space for it. Like, and it's not a knock on them. They may be 10 years down the road, but they don't really have space for whatever thing you're trying to do. So let's talk about the heart of this ministry for those who are listening who may not be members or who are members. The heart. Let's get to the heart.
So one of the things that I've made it a point to do since before I even went into ministry officially, like, I've always been a servant. I've always been, what needs to be done, I got it. You know what I mean? And when I say what needs to be done, I'm not even talking about asking what needs to be done. Like I'm talking about evaluating. Like, hey, like this needs to be done. Like I got it. And I wanted to carry that over into our church, because I just believe that, and if you go through our new members class, you'll hear me say it so many times that, the higher you go in leadership, the more of a servant you become. And so as believers, we should feel like the leaders of our community. And so even how we approach community is from a point of service. How we approach the idea behind giving is to be of service. As a husband, to be of service. And so the thing about being of service is the servant doesn't get to determine what service looks like. So
you gotta say it again though. You be speeding past the bars.
No.
That's why the rap career wasn't gonna work. You speed past the bars. Repeat the bars for me, please.
So think about it like this. We can go out to eat together. You and your wife, me and my wife, we can go out to eat together. And let's say we go to Longhorn, right? Longhorn's not cheap. It's not St. Elmo's, right?
Right.
Now, if you're used to eating at St. Elmo's, and I'm used to eating at Applebee's, I'm gonna think the service at Longhorn is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You may be like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so this waiter gives us both the same service, and to me it's amazing. To you, it's subpar. The waiter doesn't get to determine whether or not his service was great. Who he serves gets to determine whether or not his service was great.
I hope y'all writing this down. Let me drop a pen and pad in my life real quick. Go ahead, keep going.
And so, if we're talking about serving God, we don't get to determine like this is beneath me, or this is too far beyond what I'm capable of, or whatever. Like if we're serving God, whatever space God's put you in to serve is the space in which you serve. And so that's the heart that I wanted Abundant Faith to have. Like whatever we need to do, we would be the ones to get it done. Like whatever God is expecting of us, we'll get that done. Whatever the community needs from us, we'll get that done. Whatever our members need from us, we'll get it done. And it's just really having the heart of a servant.
All right, so I got a story to share with that. Or was you about to?
No.
Okay. I got a story to share with that, right? Because what he's saying is true. Like it's true. Like and this is coming from y'all. Like this ain't like something that we just as the I call it Abundant Faith staff, but we didn't like come and say this is y'all set that standard. Is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
I remember a time. Where somebody came to us and said, yo, we got these meals. They already prepared. All we got to do is hand them out.
Absolutely.
New meals wasn't really meals.
Right.
New meals wasn't really meals. But we didn't look and say, well, we can't do it now.
Right.
We didn't do it. Like whatever needed to be done, we did it. And we did it above and beyond. And honestly, to me, that was eye-opening to me, to letting me know like this is that right spot. And this we're talking about the heart of the ministry. Like y'all have to understand that like when it comes to really doing the work, we do that. Like I'm bragging on it right now. Like that's what we do. Like if we don't plant our flag on nothing else, it's that. Like we do the work and we don't shy at any challenge to do the work. If it needs to be done, we may outsource. We may call on some people or whatever, but we get it done. And that is a testament of what y'all have done as leaders.
Absolutely. If we set something out, our community is dependent on us. So we can't put anything out and then just say, okay, we're not going to do it because a bump in the road happened. And that this ministry truly, because this is what me and Jordan truly believe, we work alongside our people. We don't direct. Jordan is not a pastor that just is telling everybody what to do, and then he's sitting back getting served. Like
He's in the trenches.
He's in the trenches. Jordan is in the trenches, and his family is too. We put Joey to work just like we're at work, the youngest one. So that's absolutely the truth.
Yeah, for sure. We got some more good words real quick. I'm gonna read these real fast, and then we're gonna speak to the next thing. Andrea King, she said, "Congrats! I'm so proud of y'all. Love y'all." Sister Kim, she said, "Thankful to be a part of AFCC and look forward to what God is doing or going to do." We got Helen Richardson. He said, "Happy second anniversary. Keep working and walking by faith. Love you both." Okay, so real quick, we talked about the heart of the ministry, right? I think that we kind of already answered this, but I just want to get like the straight answer, right? Why should someone be a part of Abundant? Like somebody that's listening to it right now, they may not have a church home, or they're looking for a church home. They're looking for that purpose. Maybe they're trying to find their purpose, find their gift. Like, why Abundant Faith?
You go first on this one.
I say this fairly often, maybe a little more often than what I should. But I'm gonna be real with you. Abundant faith is not for everybody.
I like that.
Number one, and this is not a negative thing. Like this is just, it just is what it is, right? Number one, everybody's not designed to be a part of a startup ministry. You know what I mean? Everybody is not, you know, like you're really big on like the personality assessments and things like that. Like everybody's not wired
for that
to function in the beginning stages of a thing, right? And that's okay.
Right.
And then also, again, like when you join Abundant Faith, it's all hands on deck immediately.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't necessarily like that. They want to be able, well, I'm gonna join, but I'm gonna sit back and watch for a while and see, and that's just not really the culture.
Yeah.
Of Abundant Faith.
You're coming to work for sure.
Yeah. And so, but at the same time, I think that those are also reasons that people would want to be a part of Abundant Faith, right? If you, I'm sure there's people watching right now who have, probably you included, like, yo, I got this idea, like maybe we could do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, so what do you need to make that happen? You know, if you bring me an idea, you better be ready to do the work for it, because this isn't a delegating ministry, right? Like if God gave you the idea, who better to carry it out than you?
Yeah.
Right. And so we have room for that. We make room for that. And just really foundationally, we preach and teach the Bible, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
It's the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's no extra, there's no less. We don't have any additives or preservatives. It just is what it is. And so I just feel like if you want to be a part of a ministry that preaches and teaches Bible, and that will create a space for you to be who God called you to be, that Abundant Faith will be the perfect place to be, regardless of how old you are, regardless of how long you may or may not have been working, living for Christ. You may not have even given your life to Christ yet. You know what I mean? Right. It doesn't even matter. We make room for everyone.
I'm going to add to that. So yes, if the Bible is preached and taught, and we listen to it. However, at Abundant Faith, I'm going to have to give all glory to God, because our pastor, I feel like, is truly anointed and gifted. And even though he is preaching and teaching the Bible, revelation is coming through. And it's the way it's delivered, the way God has designed it to be delivered, it's like mind blowing. So the people are definitely getting fed, and the perspective, like you were taught one thing your whole life, and you really are pushed to go a little further, dig a little deeper. Is that really true? Are we interpreting it right? And so I think that the ministry is definitely ordained, and it's divine from God. Also, love is a big thing. Love is a big thing. We have love for people, all kinds of people. And it's not just people who look like they're supposed to be in church. It's all people. And I know Pastor says like the message never changes, the delivery method changes. So you have a church that's going to evolve with the times, but we're still going to stay true to the core of what God is saying, but we're always going to evolve with the time. We're not going to just roll over and die. And that's a big thing on why people should become members of Abundant Faith.
So the thing that I get from that is like, for me, if I were to answer that question, it would be like cultivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can literally cultivate whatever. Like you said, you got an idea. Like, I'm back here like Oprah right now. I didn't even know I didn't even know this was in here. I did not know that this is like the royal family interview right now. Like, I didn't know. But I'm just being like, to be serious, like, there are gifts and there are things that may be dormant until you get into a space like this. Like, you can't, like, your job may not honor that. You know what I'm saying? Like, your occupation may not honor that, but at this space, it's honored. Like, we got people who can't necessarily go out and do a mission, but they sit back with the kids and they pack up stuff for us to take out. Like, everybody, I have never seen one person lay dormant at our church, period. If they come to an event, there's something for you to do, period, point blank. So that's major. So we're gonna do like a kind of like a rapid thing because we almost
on our time.
Let
me just say this really quick
go
because
ahead.
I'm the wife and I know what goes on behind the scenes in our household as far as like why people should come. Like, pastor is not just playing church. The sacrifice that we make for the time away from the family, I can honestly say, like, he is in here studying. He's not just playing church. He's
y'all don't even see the bookcase.
I know. He's taking in so much content, and I just like I see a lot of stuff, and I've gotten close to some pastors, and it's not a play thing. Like, the whole family has to be together, and that is another reason. Like, we are not playing church, and that is a reason to join Abundant Faith. If no other reason, we're not out here to get likes and to get it. Right. Because if we wanted to do that, hey, I could have my husband all to myself, but I choose to share him. You gotta share. Yes. With everybody. So he better be doing the right thing, or else y'all gonna hear it from the first lady. When the first lady says peace out, then y'all know something.
So I was just about to ask you, I promise you I got this written down. Like, what are some of the things that nobody sees? Right? Because this is another one of those like human things, you know, like you said, it's putting in that time. Like, people don't understand how much time goes into doing like once every single week. And if y'all ever pay attention, if y'all ain't tuning in, listen, we're going to have a problem with Pastor called me Abundant Faith Pit Bull. I'm coming to your crib, right? I'm coming to your house. We're going to have a chit chat because, like, it's like a college course on a Sunday. I'm sitting here writing notes and I'm like, dang, I'm flipping pages. I'm like, all right, shoot, I don't know, you know, but that shows that this is your life. Like, this ain't nothing to play, and like you said, ain't nothing to play with. And that alone, to me, when you find somebody that's that dedicated to the process, you want to help them out. You want to be a part of that. Like, you want to be a part of that because you know something great is coming from it. So if nothing else, you know that Abundant Faith is headed to the trajectory of Abundant Faith is just going to be greatness. So just come on and be a part of that. Okay, so we talked about the heart of the ministry, right? I want to know the heart of the pastor and first lady, because I know that deeply rooted, there's concern for people, right? Deeply rooted, there's that love that you talked about. Like, you know, we've had conversations, and I don't know that I could even bear some of those. Like, and I know for y'all, and that's another good thing about y'all ministry, like, you don't put anybody's stuff out there, but it's a lot to be in that position where people might be coming to you with some of the stuff that, you know, they may not be telling nobody. They might not even prayed about it yet. And I know that, you know, how you go about that as far as, you know, tell them, hey, you might want to talk to God about that. But, like, what is it like the heart of the pastor and the first lady, like the concerns that may keep you up at night when it comes to the people that you're serving? We getting deep, y'all. Grab a tissue or something.
No, I think that there is a such thing as a pastor's heart.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people get confused in their calling and make the assumption that because I was called to ministry that I'm also called to pastor, and that's not always the case. Because there is a such thing as a pastor's heart. And a pastor's heart is a very interesting space, because it's a space that not only cares for people, but it's a space that cares for people in such a way that, you know, you have to know your own limitations. You have to know the best term I can use is you have to know when to use tough love, when to step back from situations, when to fight, when to wash your hands of a situation, the discernment to be able to know what's real and what's not. And so I believe that God gives those whom he calls to pastor particular characteristics, and he gives them a pastor's heart. And so I'm gonna be real with you. I'm still figuring it out.
Right.
I'm still learning and having moments where I'm talking to First Lady and I'm like, I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know why I'm having these types of thoughts, and I'm having this feeling, and it's not the typical thing, you know what I mean? And so I'm still figuring it out, but I believe wholeheartedly that there are some people who have been given a pastor's heart, and I would like to think that I'm one of those people.
Yeah. And I think our balance is really on point. We work well together. So if someone comes to us with a problem or a secret or whatever they may want, and he's thinking one way, I can bring another perspective to him so that we keep that balance. Because like you said, sometimes you want to be like, what in the world? This is probably the worst thing, the worst information that I could ever. And he's saying this and I'm saying, well, let's take a step back. Why is it this way? And vice versa. He does this to me and we kind of like talk it through. We pray about it. Sometimes you can't respond right away. You just take information so that you don't just attack or you don't just give the wrong advice, and you always bring it back to the Bible. Like, what is this really about? Like, what scripture? Let's find scripture on this, on how to handle this. But it's a lot. He actually keeps his mental health together. It's a lot of information to take in, and then we kind of bounce back and forth to protect like our mental health.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had to ask that just because like. I can only imagine, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you're just leading yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be able to get up there every single week, the preparation behind the scenes, the things that, you know, First Lady does that nobody sees, you know, like all that stuff plays in. And then on top of that, you have to, you know, shepherd and lead and do, you know, all these different things. And there is a such thing as like the burden of leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like it is real.
I would definitely say a part of having a pastor's heart is, and this may be true in other arenas, but I can only speak for the one that I know of. A part of having a pastor's heart is being okay with taking all of the blame and receiving none of the credit.
So the ownership piece.
Yep.
Yeah. Ownership. Yeah.
If things go wrong, well, Pastor, you didn't tell me, or why didn't you tell me, or I did what you said, and you know, whatever. And I mean, just even as far as credit, like if credit is what you need, because some people are wired that way. Like some people need like they kind of feed off of
Need
that. And again,
recognition.
there's nothing wrong with
Right,
that.
right.
But if that's you, pastoring is probably not
Right.
the space you need to be in.
For sure.
You probably may want to go into more of a corporate space, or a sales position, or something like that. Pastoring is probably not the space that you'll want to be in. Just really because the majority of that job people don't even know exists anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they wanted to credit you for it, like they don't know that this is a thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knows that if I can't sleep at 2:30 in the morning, that I come into the office and pray until I can fall back to sleep. Nobody knows that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows that when each person calls me because they've got a crisis,
Mm-hmm.
they have not considered whether or not I just got off the phone with somebody who has a crisis.
Yeah.
And it's not their job to consider.
Relationship, like you
Yeah.
don't, they don't know, what's going on.
I mean, and I gave a testimony earlier in 2020. I'm having to be the pastor, and things are not well at home. Like nobody knows that,
Right.
and it's not their job to know. My
Right.
point is, with having that pastor's heart, you have to be okay.
Got to put the heart first
with knowing that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's important. Y'all gonna have to go back and listen to the old sermons though, because there was a time frame of months where there, what I'm saying, between jobs and all that stuff. But I didn't know until maybe like 30 days, 60 days into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa, he's showing up every single day the same way. Like there's no difference in how you were showing up. Now, if I look back, I may be like, okay, maybe one day he was a little irritated or something. But like, I didn't see a difference, and that speaks to that heart. And if nothing else, the question that I asked you previously about like why Abundant Faith and the heart of this ministry, this is it. Like this is why I wanted to ask these questions, because people have to see that. You know what I'm saying? And it's the perfect time on a 2-year anniversary to see why the ministry has even lasted 2 years. Why God has blessed this ministry. It's because of the heart that he has given you guys in order to fulfill this ministry. So really, I don't have anything else for y'all. I know y'all hot. Y'all on the hot seat right now. I'm over here sweating like crazy. But here's what I will do. I'm gonna go through a couple more of these. And if y'all have any last words y'all want to say to Pastor, to First Lady, to the Abundant Faith family, period, just drop it in the comments real quick. If you are excited for today, I mean, just this anniversary, these 2 years, hit the like button. Come on, smash. Listen, I'm looking on my phone. I need to see y'all smashing that like button on Facebook, because it's 2 years. Like, that's big. That's big. That's big for anything. Like, most businesses don't last 2 years. We got a church that's striving, that's making strides right now. I need y'all to hit that like button. Whitney, I see you. First Lady, I see you. I'm hitting the like button too. I need to see y'all hit that like button for the 2-year anniversary. I do got one last closing question, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Alrighty.
And this is a 2-part. Y'all both can answer at the same time, or it could be separate. I want to know, where do you see Abundant Faith in 3 to 5 years? Like, and here's what I mean by this. I want to paint the picture real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are watching this, and people will watch this tomorrow, the next day. 5 years from now, whatever you say, they will be able to see and say, dang, they said that. On the 2-year anniversary, it's a 7-year anniversary now, right? We ain't gonna be in this office. We're gonna be somewhere else. What? It's a 7-year anniversary, and we looking back and we say, we accomplished what we said. What is that? What do you see? What do you see that you want to share? Let me feel like that, because I know there's some stuff in there. I already know.
So we see a facility that will encompass all of the. I see a facility that will encompass all of the visions that Pastor has been working on, and I see it very clearly, and I've seen it very clearly for these entire 2 years.
Ooh.
So anyways, we're doing this thing. We're in this phase where we're searching for a permanent home. We're leasing space and renting space right now. So we're in this stage where now we're searching for a permanent home. And it's so clear to me that Pastor has to take me to locations to determine if that's where we are.
I'll say this. I think that I know that church in general, as we know it, or as we've known it, is no more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to even add that in.
So, in a traditional sense, I'll put it to you like this. I believe that Abundant Faith will be one of the churches to sort of be pioneers in this new space.
Yes.
Especially in the state of Indiana. And I liken it to this. Our age group, we were the last of the house phone babies and the first of the cell phone generation.
Yeah.
Like, our kids have no clue what a house phone is.
Not at all.
Right? Like, and so we were able to live through the transition of having to call your friends on three-way, but you can't be on three-way very long because your mama will kill you if her friend is calling in the line.
Right.
But we were also the first to experience, like, hey, I got this cell phone, but don't call me before 9 because my minute's not free till 9. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we had the
church, like all of that stuff, right? And so we lived both spaces, and I believe that Abundant Faith will kind of follow that model where we were the last of the old school church, and we'll be the first of what church looks like now. And without going too deep into detail, what I will say is Abundant Faith will be one of the first churches that will be considered a mega ministry with a minor sanctuary.
Absolutely. So that facility that we're looking for, every vision is going to be community based. How we can serve the community, not how we can get members. How we can serve the community.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, I think that landscape has changed, and I can't wait to see. Actually, I say Mama, but Miss Tessa Wells, aka Asset, it's spelled back. Tessa spelled backwards means asset. If you didn't know, she said, "Thank God that your ministry is not about the numbers, but about the service, and that is what will always set you apart." So, like that kind of spoke to that, because I don't know that we, like you said, be like a mega thousands upon thousands. Now, the way we branch out may be that, I could definitely see that, like just having different branches or whatever. But I think just the way that we're trying to accomplish certain things, it has to kind of be, intimate. I put it like that. It has to be that, because I see us cultivating leaders. I see us. I'm not even gonna get into all the things I see. Listen, y'all. Listen, this the last chance. If you want to say anything to Pastor and First Lady, or just to Abundant Faith in general, this is your last call to do that, because we're about to hop out of here. Like I said, it's hot. We sweating. We need some cold water. We need something. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us today. And don't forget, Sunday. Don't forget now. Don't be on this live today. Abundant Faith Pitbull gonna be at your doorstep. Right? Don't be on this live today and not be on the live on Sunday. But like I said, we appreciate y'all. For those of y'all who've been rocking with us from the origin, or rocking with First Lady and Pastor before they even started the church, those who have supported, any words to them, look, I'm about to speak for y'all. Any words to the people that have supported from the jump, or...
Oh my goodness. We are forever grateful. It's actually people that we pull for every venture that we have, and they just willingly go along. And we are forever grateful that God has placed people into our lives that are willing to do whatever it takes to further the kingdom of God, and they don't waver. And we just pull them until we got it right. And we actually called people and said, we need you to do X, Y, Z. And they came aboard to our family and friends. I just cannot say thank you enough. Listening to my late night calls and encouraging me and the family and pastor and kind of guiding me in that first lady role. I'm just thankful and grateful. So thank you guys. If you never hear me say it again, which you will, thank you, thank you, thank you. What are you?
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I started off tonight by saying, I'm really just grateful and thankful for God allowing me to be a part of this process, and in the capacity that He's allowed me to be a part of the process. Um, and it sounds cliche and corny, but it's real. We couldn't do this without you guys, because here's the reality. It's a lot of people calling themselves leaders. It's a lot of people calling themselves pastors. It's a lot of people calling themselves a lot of different things. But how are you a leader if no one's following your leadership? How are you a pastor and you're not shepherding anyone? So if I'm if it wasn't for you, I would just be a motivational speaker. And so I'm grateful and thankful that God sent each and every one of you in our path, and has gifted us with you all. And so I'm just really looking forward to. I know we're celebrating the 2 years, and I'm grateful for it. But really, I'm still hand to the plow. So I'm looking forward to what God is going to do as we approach year 3. And so I would just say, even if you don't trust me, trust the God that I'm following. And if you ever feel like I'm not following God, jump ship. But even if you don't trust me, just trust the God that I'm following, and we'll end up in the promised land.
And on that note, we out of here. 2-year anniversary. It's in the books, baby. First lady said they was gonna dance. She said they was gonna have a good time, so we gotta do it. Everybody grab your water. Grab your water. If you got a significant other, grab your significant other. Tell them you love them. And listen to these smooth words of Tony. AKA Kurt Franklin. All right. We out of here, y'all. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. See y'all Sunday. It's our anniversary.